What's up, guys? This is Kalo, and normally I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming, but welcome back to another episode of Community Kitchen, where we're cooking up the latest and greatest gaming news headlines, and who better to join me today than Aiden? Why don't you say what's up?
Hello, everybody. We got Pokemon leaks to talk about here on Game Sandwich, so you might as well subscribe if you like Pokemons
Yeah, all the mons, all the pocket
and Mons.
monsters, the whole deal. But before we get into any of that, we'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you guys that are liking these videos, subscribing to Game Sandwich, and if you're new here, do all that, then join our community Discord. Links to that is in the video description down below. Now, we are staring down the barrel of Generation 10. Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves was recently revealed, and by recently I say within the last few months. And the Terra leak happened a while back, and through that, we got some information we wanted to talk about today, and then I have general questions that don't really pertain to gameplay, more specifically, an expectation we have for Generation 10, a Switch 2 native Pokemon game, which that's the point I want to emphasize. But leaks around Generation 10, or at least alleged one. Again, take it with a massive grain of salt here. But this is coming from the Twitter user light_88_. And we're going to dive through, kind of dissect each little bit here because there is a lot right here. So, Pokemon Winds and Waves will introduce a new Pokemon concept never seen before. The Seed Pokemon is a central new concept to Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves, designed as a fully adaptive, ever-changing companion. It does not have a fixed evolution line. Its form develops dynamically based on the environment, growth, and player interaction. Inspired by Spore, but reimagined around emotional bonding and narrative-driven progression. So, this is a very interesting concept to me, because we've had flavors of this throughout Pokemon, going all the way back to Pokemon Gold and Silver with Umbreon and Espeon, where it's like, hey, if you build up your relationship at night and you get like that certain level, you get an Umbreon. The same thing with Espeon. Then we've had other kind of flavors of like, hey, if you get this certain level of friendship with a Pokemon in like Lucario, then they evolve. Hearing this, where it's like a fully adaptive, ever-changing companion, the ever-changing part is what interests me the most, and this is based on environment growth and player interaction. Aiden, hearing this, what are we feeling about? I assume this is just one Pokemon, where it's like a Cosmog, like for Sun and Moon,
Yeah.
where it's like you just get that one, and it's like, hey, here is your one partner on your team that just kind of does everything.
I mean, that's more or less what I've seen some people say is that like this sounds kind of like Cosmog, like getting it early in the game and then just kind of having it there and it'll adapt over time. It sounds interesting to me just because I think of it more or less as like okay, it's ever changing, it's fully adaptive, so that means like how you treat it is going to depend on like how you treat it's going to make it adapt into different situations, like become like, oh, if you treat it like, I don't know, if you make it battle a lot and you make it real fierce, maybe it'll become a fire Pokemon. Maybe if you like treat it horribly and like my mind immediately went to if you like beat it, it'll like turn into a ghost type or something.
Hey,
Because it'll feel like neglected and like that's what I'm getting at though. Like maybe the feeling of neglect will go to it's like it'll turn into a ghost type or something. Or maybe if you like I don't know what would you would do to make it turn into a dark type then because like I associate neglect with like being a ghost type.
maybe a cave,
But
or like going.
I feel like that would be a rock type then,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I don't
that's
know, like
true.
maybe if you like harden it up by having it take a lot of hits or something like that,
Yo,
maybe it'll turn into a rock type or a ground type or something like that. Maybe it'll also be dependent on what you do in terms of like in general, like in terms of like happiness, friendship, yada yada yada. Like I'm guessing it'll involve that. Maybe there'll be some special mechanics. Like I know like Inkay, for instance, like evolves if you like hold your switch upside down or something.
yeah.
And it's like maybe that will have something to do with it. I don't know. Like there could be a lot of things with it.
My thing, looking at the trailer for Winds and Waves, I see a lot of different biomes. So I would assume most, like, here's the lava one. Obviously, there's a lot of open water to traverse and go underwater. So maybe it's tied to as well where you're battling with said Pokemon. Like, you spend your time if there's an ice region, or like here's the swamp and there's the lava. Obviously, maybe it'll be tied there. But further going down in this post, it is first encountered in the coastal resort area, which we've seen in the trailer, with legend tying its true evolution to the Storm and Wave legendary islands, which makes me think where that bit, it's like, oh, it's gonna be like Cyclizar in Scarlet and Violet, where they're gonna change or something like that. Beyond being a Pokemon, it functions as gameplay systems that shapes ecosystems, islands, and world progression. So essentially, this Pokemon is tied to how far you get in the game. I'm very interested to see if this comes to light. Mainly because tying one specific Pokemon to such key pivotal things in the game, like as far as like world progression, ecosystems in the land, I mean, this is a lot to put on one Pokemon. And then, God forbid, this Pokemon's design is not good. People are not going to be happy with
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I'm gonna hate it if it turns out to be kind of like a like Miraidon and Koraidon situation where it's like, oh, you get the Pokemon in the beginning, but then it's more or less just like your mount for the entirety of the game, and then finally at the end you get it, and it's like, yeah, you build like kind of a relationship with it because you end up like helping it to like regain its strength and like abilities over time. But at the same time, it I didn't love the concept of like Miraidon and Koraidon. You know, I didn't love them. They were just like, whatever type legendaries to me. I missed like part of it makes me think, especially the part that says shapes ecosystems, islands, and world progression. That in itself makes me think of Kyogre and Groudon.
Hmm.
Just makes me think of them, especially with the shaping ecosystems thing, because that was like their whole thing, right? Where like one of them, like they work the water and the land and like they create islands and all that. So it's
Yeah.
like, could that be something about it too? Like, could it actually be like, oh, maybe you create islands using this Pokemon or something like that, or maybe you change the ecosystem entirely? I think that would be interesting, but I miss those days where legendaries felt legendary, where like you had to go really far out of your way
Yeah.
to go get them. It's like, Groudon, you had to go down into a cave system to go find them. If like, and for like Mewtwo, you had to like find them deep in a cave as well. Like, come on, why can't we get that again?
That's my thing with. I think that's why I didn't like Sun and Moon so much, where you get Nebby very early on, or like you're introduced to Nebby, and then you're kind of like, oh, that Pokemon kind of looks like the box legendary, where it's like the cosmic, like, I don't want to say paint, but like the skin of the Pokemon was like all galaxy themed, and then you look at the box and you're like, so Galio, that face looks pretty eerily similar, and then all of a sudden Nebby turns into said box legendary. So for me, and I'm in agreement there with you as far as like make legendaries legendary again, that deal where it's like I like the build up to that Pokemon. And realistically, I'm going to call a spade a spade. What they're describing here is something we've always carried with us no matter what Pokemon game it's been, and it is the HM slave, where it's like, there's your Linoon who knows Waterfall, Rock Smash, Cut, and like whatever, and it's like, there's your member of the team that you just have there to kind of get you to where you need to be, like as far as Surf and all that. So I guess this is them trying to dress up that Pokemon more and make it more enticing to be like, no, it's not just some normal type that you catch on Route 1 and like take with you forever. They're trying to make it, I guess, better.
And
But
we've also seen like the destruction of the whole HM Mule,
yeah,
we have.
yeah,
Over the course of the games, like we've needed that less and less, and it's been more tied to legendaries with like Koraidon and everything getting like Glide, or if you before you needed to have a Pokemon that specifically knew Fly, now it's always, oh hey, here's a taxi. It's a
yeah.
flying taxi that can just take you from point A to point B, and it's like, oh, okay. Well, now we just have fast travel at the very base like beginning of the game or whatever. they're like I agree with like getting rid of HMs, I
Yeah,
do.
don't need
But at
them.
the same time, I feel like some are kind of necessary. Like, like turn waterfall into a TM, and if you have it, oh, look, you can find this secret area because you can use it to get up this waterfall, but don't make it necessary to progress.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just like my 2 cents about that because it's just like HMs, some of them feel like they have a place. Like Fly feels like it has a place here.
Yeah,
Because like
obviously.
not every location's gonna have a flying taxi.
Yeah, and then you factor in this game is so hinged on like islands. I mean, Waves is one of the titles where it's like you're obviously going to be surfing and like stuff like that. So you would reserve that. Now, legendary talk aside, Pokemon is important because it has, hey, here is this generation of Pokemon. I want to ask you a question that's been bugging me ever since you pitched this video idea, and it is the Pokemon deck size. Don't confuse that, people out there, with something else. Um, we've had generations in the past, Dexgate, where Sword and Shield was just absolutely clobbered because it had such few Pokemon. And you can argue every Pokemon game since then, it's been the same deal. I don't want to be that guy to say we got to be hopeful because it is a native Switch 2 thing. They're skipping time to make this game. They could have released it this year. They're releasing it next year. Am I naive to say that I have, and I know I'm going to get a no, to say that I have a little hope because they took that year off? Maybe it's because, one, they're trying to find more brand new Pokemon for Winds and Waves. And then two, they're trying to add or at least find the right balance of here is a ton of older Pokemon that you know and love that are also included in this game.
See, I 100% agree with you. Like they've lacked on doing Pokemon, like enough Pokemon at least in each game. Because like Generation 1 had 151, obviously. And then Generation 2 had 100. And then when you jump forward, like I'm looking at a list now, when you jump forward to like Gen 6, each one of them had minimum of 100
Yeah.
until you hit Gen 6, and then it was 72. And that was the least number of Pokemon they added to a game. And then after that, Gen 7 was 88, Gen 8 was 96, and then Gen 9 finally broke 100 again and went up to 120, which thankfully they did. Not all of them were that great, but still super respect to Tinkaton.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just really find that Pokemon amusing. But yeah. But anyway, I want them to add like a serious number of Pokemon here. I want them to go back. They took a year off from it. They have a long time to actually sit here and work on the game. I would love for them to go back to like adding at least like maybe 140 Pokemon or something. So that way we have a good catalog to like go out and hunt for, and then also give us a good catalog of old Pokemon as well. If you do not give me Slowpoke, I will probably hunt you down because Slowpoke deserves to be here.
Yeah.
But it's not just that though. Like I would love to see new regional forms because regional forms is actually something that I think was a good idea for them. And I do enjoy them. Like while I don't love the look of all of them,
Yeah. No, they're
I do
all.
think that they were at least a good concept to have, and I think that they should be in each game.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single new region, you should have regional variants of different Pokemon that you've seen in the past. And so I want there to be a nice mix of new Pokemon, regional variants, and then to top it off, I know people always talk about how this generation should finally be the one where they add new evolutions and everything. I'm tired of that. I'm so
It's
tired of
not going to
people saying
happen.
evolutions, and I'm sorry, as much as I want that to happen too, don't get me wrong, don't get me twisted here. I want there to be evolutions. But at the same time, I'm so tired of that, and I don't think that they should do it anymore because I'm just like, I've moved on, I've gone beyond them adding an evolution to the game. What I want is for them to do an entirely new Eevee Pokemon
Yeah.
and just have it be all the evolutions that Eevee isn't.
Hmm.
So that
Hey,
way you have two Eevee type Pokemon.
that would be nice. I mean, having that
That or a regional
flexibility.
variant of Eevee that is all the others. One or the other.
Yeah, I think that works in
But
my head. I, My just general prediction. I'm just gonna give a general prediction on this. I'm going to say there's gonna be a new evolution, like a new set. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a flying type, which we haven't had. We already have a
That's been
war.
hinted at I don't know how many times according to people.
Yeah, hey. And then just for the lulz, let's get a bug type. Hey, bug type evolution. Let's do something here. Or, yeah, bug type. I'm gonna go bug and flying. You heard it here first. If it happens, y'all, every view, you owe me $20 just because, I don't know. But a symptomatic thing for me that I feel contributes to why I don't like the newer Pokemon games is the Pokemon's designs. Like, I am not that invested to go out and hunt down all of the new Pokemon just because I don't like how they look. And then, like, I'm looking at the starters right here. This is a good set of starters. But then the thing I said in the reveal video that we did was, these guys look cute. I would die for each and every one of these. But then we all know the fakeade that exists whenever we get to the second stage, let alone the third stage evolution, where it's like, you could generally fall off a cliff with these Pokemon designs and like
Oh, of course.
get the great one at first, and then it's just absolute train wreck after that. And that's just what Pokemon has been. Like I we're on Generation 10, and I'm sitting here going, man, Generation 10, a grand total of however many Pokemon that have been just created. At what point does the Pokemon Company run out of like design concepts? I mean, like we've literally scraped the bottom of the barrel to me with the trash Trubbish and then like I don't know, Vanillite, like an ice cream cone. It's like where are they going to pull from next? I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know, but again, that's why I'm not paid to be a Pokemon designer. But to me, it's just the investment of I need Pokemon that I am invested to find that look cool. Like Flygon
Yeah.
looks cool. I'm invested. I want to evolve my Trapinch into a Flygon because that is such a sick line. Bagon to freaking Salamence. Like I love that line. That's great. I want to do that. Recently, I'm either in all my teams, and like whether it is Legends EA, whether it is Scarlet and Violet, my team generally outside of the regional starter or just whatever is older Pokemon. Like that's all it is. And I'm like, I don't really vibe with. I mean, there are a few, like Tinkaton. Thought that was pretty cool. But again, it's more older Pokemon versus new for me.
Yeah, same. I mean, and I mean, granted, it's probably too like, oh, we grew up with these Pokemon and everything, so we've seen them more, we've gotten to know them a lot more, we enjoy them more. And maybe someone who's like, a 10-year-old now or like a 12-year-old
Exactly.
now is like, oh man, I absolutely love Inteleon, even though I hate that design so much.
Mimikyu is big. Mimikyu is big amongst the new.
Mimikyu is adorable. I
Yeah.
love Mimikyu so much.
Yeah.
There are some good ones. There are some newer ones that are good.
Yeah.
They've had bangers over the years, but there's been a lot of trubbish, if you will, over the years too.
Ah, look at
But
you.
uh, but in general, though, like I said, that's my thought process for it. Though is I want 140 Pokemon. Like, give me that. Give me some good ones. Give me a new evolution. Like, give me a new like EV type Pokemon that evolves into all the other ones that it's not. Also, I've noticed one thing too with people talking. The name of the Pokemon that I'm completely forgetting right now, the one with the bananas on it, Tropius. That one,
Tropius. Yes.
Tropius. He needs an evolution.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
give Tropius an evolution or give him a regional variant. He deserves it at this point. Man's been running around with bananas around his neck for I don't know how long.
Let
He
me
needs something different.
let me
Like
just
give him some
interject.
coconuts to go with the bananas. I don't know.
If Flygon doesn't get a regional variant or a mega, I don't know if they're doing megas in this game, but dog, we have lost the plot. Justice for Flygon. And as for my like final thoughts here on Pokemon Winds and Waves, uh I'm with you. I am in this thing where it's almost the best sign possible that they took the year off to create this game or improve upon it. I'm expecting at least like around what you said, 140 new Pokemon, and Am I going to be nice and include regional variants in that 140? Yeah, probably, because I know it.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I
you're
want
not.
140 and then
140
also
new.
regional variants on top of that.
Wow.
Give me
Okay.
140 and then give me like 20 or 30 regional variants on top of that. I want like
Wow.
170 sitting here.
I'm
Like
taking
they
the
took a year
realist.
off. I'm like, I'm like, hey, give me everything.
Wow. Okay, I respect it. And then like for what it's worth, whatever amount of Pokemon we get right now, there's going to be a DLC for this game that adds another couple 50 or 60 Pokemon maybe. So, whatever. I'm just expecting the improvements here. That's what I want. That's what I need. I'm not going to try to be naive about all this, but I also understand like, hey, got to hold them to a certain metric because they are the Pokemon company and they're not the biggest IP in the world for no reason. But Aiden, final thoughts here.
I can't say do better because they haven't done it yet. I can't say my catchphrase here on that,
Darn, they caught ya.
but just Pokemon, give us what we want.
What we
I just want,
deserve.
I
No,
want
not
it to
want,
be
deserve.
good again. I
Yeah.
want it to be good again. I want to feel that nostalgic feel when I go into the Pokemon world. I want to be like, oh my God, this is new, exciting, fresh, you know, and as much as people are gonna hate me for this, I think Pokemon was better before they just gave you EXP share right off the bat.
Wow. Wow. Hey, I
I feel like it was better when you had to grind a little bit, just because like it made you like feel more for your Pokemon. Like I feel like you were closer to them then, and they weren't like as expendable.
I'm hand up. I'm so guilty of this. I love the fact that EXP share is just on there because then I'll
Oh,
go.
convenient. Convenient as all hell. Love it for the convenience, but I feel like it made you closer to your Pokemon and have to grind with them. Maybe just like unlock it quarter of the way through the story versus right at the beginning.
Well, that's my thing, and this is it shows you how bad of a trainer I am. I'll catch the Pokemon I want to evolve to get to that second stage evolution and just not use them. I'll be like, you wait on the sidelines, buddy, until I actually I want to use you because I want your cooler looking evolution. Am I shallow for saying that? Probably. But like, hey, this is me. This is how I train my Pokemon. And to each their own. But this is where we're going to pass it off to you guys. Expectations for Pokemon wins and waves. What's the deck size? Evolution, yes or no, and what typing? And then what do you think about this seed Pokemon concept? Because to me it sounds fun, but I really, I need to see more than this trailer. But hey, that about does it here for this episode of Community Kitchen. I've been Kalo, joined by Aiden, and we'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed today's video and want more content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your news, rumors, and reviews. And we'll see you guys next time.